Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we have Mac swinging righty. Can only mean one thing. We've got some game improvement irons in the house.
Need them.
We definitely do. So we're going to look at today the Tour Edge Exotics E722 line. Not particularly new. We've had them in store for a good few weeks now, but certainly one that we've been looking forward to trying. A brand that you have an affinity with the old Exotics Fairywood.
Yeah, Old Faithful.
Lying in its grave somewhere. Yeah. But these are new iron that are very, very, I guess, kind of on trend with what's happening in the iron market right now. You know, run through a load of the technical buzz terms that are in here, but you kind of see everything that, to be honest, much more expensive irons are kind of using TPU. They're using sort of toe weight. They're using sort of this kind of vibration dampening system that's called Vibrcor in the E722s. So I'm very curious to see how these perform, because at the price point, Mac, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, no, the price point of them is kind of be a no-brainer for a beginner golfer or somebody that's maybe getting back into the game that doesn't maybe have a lot of speed or miss hits, and it could be a big benefit, I think.
$111 per iron USD. I mean, that's beating a lot of the direct-to-consumer brands.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than those. Most people who have played the game, been around the game for a while, have heard of Tour Edge. I mean, look at the Champions Tour, it's every other bag, isn't it, really?
Literally, yeah.
So it's a well-known brand. So kind of interesting to, you know, to kind of walk the line between being not direct-to-consumer. It's an iron that we sell. It's an iron that you'll find in other club fitting stores, but, you know, they are at that direct-to-consumer price point.
Yeah, definitely.
Very interesting. So, I mean, you look in the spec sheet, we are not going to get away from the fact that they are extremely strong lofted. That is speaking to the design of it. We have the kind of cup face technology. We have a significantly lowered center of gravity, so the stronger loft designed to be complemented by a low CG, going to propel the ball nice and high. That height should offset the reduction in spin brought on by the stronger lofts. So still playable from an angle of descent perspective. So not looking to spin these irons. We shouldn't be impressed, unimpressed. We shouldn't really be judging these on what do they spin at. It's not really relevant to this test because the lofts are so strong. But do they add more distance? Do they add more forgiveness? All of those boxes will be looking to be ticked here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Let's hit a couple of wedges. $150.
$150. A little pulley. That's
wee bit pulley. That's all good. We'll straighten that out. 110 miles an hour is kind of baseline pitch and wedge ball speed average for the PGA Tour.
Okay.
So give you a rough idea. Love that. That's really nice.
That's kind of what I expected. About 140 would be the number.
So as we hone in on that angle of descent that we spoke about, guys, I wish we could remove the box that says backspin, because I don't want people focused on this. Oh, it's a 9-iron. We know. You know, we've played that game before, right? We've done enough of these tests that we understand what stronger lofts are there to produce more distance. That's okay, though. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's done with angles of descent and peak height and all those things in mind. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Let's hit a few more of
Actually,
those.
it feels pretty good.
It sounded good. Didn't sound too clicky. I was kind of expecting a little bit more of a high-pitched clack that comes with some of these irons, but I guess that's the TPU, the urethane kind of vibration dampening system, and they're really working.
It feels really soft, actually. I'm surprised with, like you said, a lot of game improvement irons from ones I've tested or kind of tried feel clicky. It gives you that feedback, but these feel quite soft, which is nice. Oops. That was really off the toe, I believe.
Testing the forgiveness.
Testing the forgiveness, seeing all places of the face.
So well struck.
It's shut in the face just a little bit, but I mean, having in the middle of the face.
Yeah, I don't think anyone watching this who struggles with a high right miss with kind of the irons or any clubbing, you know, is going to be upset with seeing you know, hit these really nicely kind of with a bit of right to left to them.
Yeah.
You know, just like I always say to people, you know, the path is often dictated by the face. So in order to move that path a little bit, you know, we're going to allow the fact we know this ball's going left. We're going to aim a little bit more to the right. The chronic slicers, the over-the-top players, are going to have finally the opportunity to aim a little bit right rather than aiming left and then, you know, slashing across it. So, you know, I think that's where we can see some big path changes.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, like, I know my miss because I'm so in-out right-handed. That's something that I've, with my righty swing, I often battle this much offset, a little bit more of a game improvement. That's going to be...
Get it going a bit.
Yeah, I've always struggled to hit it right. I can hit it right with, like, more of a player iron right-handed, but I struggle a little bit more when I'm using something a little bit more game improvement.
Okay.
I'm loving that left side.
It's good.
I feel like with this club in my hand, which again, with most golfers miss being that right, I feel like I'm going to have a really hard time hitting this right with that. So I think it could help a lot of kind of the right missers out there.
There's a lot of them.
A lot of them.
There really are a lot of them. Okay, let's hit a couple with the 7 here. Moving the flag back. I mean, 180 is a big 7-iron.
Yeah,
that's a big 7-iron.
My stock 7-iron goes like 185. I don't have stock, but yeah, 180 would be a big.
All right, let's see if this can kind of get there. Nice strike. Still want to shape that direction, don't they?
Yeah, I really need to force a cut swing, I feel like, to get this not to go left.
So let's kind of work on that a little bit. So angle attack a bit more down, almost feeling like a little cutty with it.
Sure.
That's a really good iron. Had plenty in the locker, didn't it?
Yeah, like got some good one out of that.
Angle in a sense coming down a little bit, but not bad.
Okay.
Still peaking at 90 feet.
A little chunky, but...
Yeah, the sole is wide for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm finding it's like, it's just kind of grabbing, and then I think that shuts my face a little bit more than...
And guys, we always talk about this in the channel. The definition of forgiveness is the club's ability to mask the deficiencies in either your delivery and your ball flight, whatever that is. Forgiveness is not the club that goes the furthest, the one that you can, you know, hit it most the toe of the heel. It's however the club allows for your, as I say, your deficiencies. Mac, with his delivery on his right-handed swing, gets super shallow. So it doesn't matter how forgiving of a club you give him. If it's got a big old wide sole, you're going to struggle with it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be lots of golfers out there go, yeah, when I try irons that have that type of design, I don't do well. Yeah, we definitely see that to be the case a lot. So those thinner soles, and not to, but to compare sort of the 6-iron loft on that guy, or 7-iron loft, should I say, just pull that up here. It's going to be super strong. 27.5. So kind of a modern day 6-iron, but you know, there's irons out there that are way weaker way smaller in sole design, but have a similar loft. That 14 set that I've got, the 7 irons, 30 degrees of loft, but has a tiny thin sole. That's why I love them so much. So I think that's a little nugget to take away. If you are struggling with game improvement irons, move to a thinner sole for sure.
Yeah. Try one more here.
It didn't sound like it was as flush as the other ones.
Healy.
Healy, okay.
I mean,
but
good miss for a heel. I hit that really close to the hosel, I think.
I mean, pretty good. Retaining some decent apex, but it came down a little bit. 174 on the speed. Let's see how efficient they were. Decently efficient. Yeah, that's where our struggle lies, right in there.
Yeah,
just being that little bit on the shallow side.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're going to hit the 4-iron in a second here, but again, guys, when you're deciding whether you need a 4-iron, whether you go 5-iron, in a player like Mac's case, I'm almost not even going to have a conversation with them about a 4-iron. It's just not really going to be a topic worth discussing.
No, with the 7-iron, I was struggling to get airborne like up. Like I can normally.
Yeah, you're kind of having to work the
Yeah, I
face
had
a
to
wee
try
bit.
hard to get it up. I think that's part of the issue with this. I look down and I'm almost trying to help it up because I don't see a lot of loft. So the 4-iron, I feel like, is just going to come out low and screaming.
It will. It definitely will, especially if you turn it over a wee bit. Okay, 4-iron, 19 degrees aloft, 1/4 inch longer than most people's standard 4-iron. I mean, some people who are still playing maybe Mizuno standards from a few years ago, this is 1/2 inch longer than even that alone. So, I mean, this is a distance club. It's borderline a driving iron.
Yeah, it looks like a driving iron to me. It looks not a lot of loft, a little bit of offset. One of the thicker top lines I've seen in a 4-iron for sure. Like that's, I know that's a pretty big deal for a lot of people with just how thick that top line is. So, to me, looking down at that, it's pretty thick.
And it can go two ways, that top line being as thick as that. It can be confidence inspiring to one group, and it can be off-putting to another group. It can be to a group who looks at that and goes, I don't really know how I'm going to get this through the turf. It just looks like too much mass to accurately and intricately get it through the strike. And then, like we were saying there's people who go, well, I'm not really hitting many 4-irons unless it's off a little tee, or maybe an appropriate lie. I'll just go to my 7-wood unless it's lying correctly. But there's people who go like that and go, yeah, that doesn't make me feel like it's a 4-iron. It's not intimidating by having a thin top line. So there's pros and cons to that.
All right.
So there's that big old sole making its...
Yep, I'm still catching it in the heel. Like all the irons here, I tend to favor that heel strike.
Pretty close. A little heely?
Yeah, a little bottom groove, maybe
Okay.
fraction close to the heel.
And there's the missile.
Yeah, it's just no spin.
Just bottle that.
If only they were always that good righty.
That's world class. World class. Okay, so we can see, I mean, it's worth noting that the other ones that were on the low spin side were not purely just the club, and there's a little bit of strike stuff in there. So, I mean, when you hit that one dead flush, 95 feet is pretty handy.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Height it, 19 degrees aloft.
Pretty much right on what it is.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good indeed. Obviously super long. I mean, there's going to be no one who turned round after a set of these and go, yeah, I've lost this some distance, or I'm not hitting it far enough. Like,
yeah, looking down at them, they look like they're going to go forever.
Forever.
When you catch them, for sure.
Definitely. Okay. The iron performs as you would expect this type of iron to perform. It is very right to left biased, very draw biased. It feels and it sounds great. You were saying it feels great.
Yeah, no, when you catch the middle,
checked.
which I'm not, obviously was struggling a little bit there. When you catch the middle, they feel unbelievably good.
Cheeky little notch in the hosel. If you flip around the club and look into the back of the hosel there, you've got a little kind of like, notch for bending. Obviously, when you make irons like this that have such strong steel, in order to make the face very, very thin so that we can get a little bit of flex, they call it L face in this one, which is kind of like it's like a cup face technology where it wraps around the body of the golf club, so it makes it really hot all the way down to the bottom, rather than doing a face plate where the weld is kind of somewhere up around groove 1.5. That's what makes this iron particularly hot. So, even when you're using strong metals like that little notch in there allows us to bend them a little bit. I wouldn't be taking these to your local store and asking them to bend it 4 flat.
Yeah.
I think you might end up with your club in multiple pieces, but I think it's a nice little option to give you the ability to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Guys, the E722, a really great offering in the game improvement irons, probably even into super game improvement if we look at the size of the head and the loft specs on them, but at a price point that I think that will appeal to most people who are trying to save a buck. $111 a club in the US market. It offers great value. There's some shafts that have been designed specifically to work with the heads. Go on the website, you can run all the way through the True Temper Elevate, the XPs, the Ventus Blues, the KBS, TGI, different weights. So there's some really, really good options in there, guys, and something that allows you that element of customization as well, which is really, really cool.
Yeah,
good
really
stuff.
good.
Okay, so we're going to follow this one up with a review of the new C722. A little bit of a thinner profile to that head. I think it'll be a little bit more to your liking. A little bit of a weaker loft profile.
Yeah, and probably a little less offset, which will help with my tendency to go left. So
to get it going, to sling them. Okay, stay tuned for that, guys. We will see you again soon.